Hello, Warrior T. Steve Knapp, the Mindset Elf, with you tonight. My one and only show as an elf, and I'm pretty excited about it. Tonight's Empower You. Look at me surrounded by these three amazing ladies. I've got the superstar Tessa, my powerful co-host who runs the show beautifully, and then we're joined by the two Kerrys to run amok with a bit of a Christmas Warrior special and touch on all things that we love about Christmas, what challenges we can face, and how we can best prepare ourselves for them. How are we all, ladies?
I'm all right now. Good. Coffee.
I've got coffee. I'm good.
I've got to have water because it's really hot in this outfit.
Yeah, I know. We're enjoying the weather for once.
Yeah, we've been pretty blessed down here for the last few days. I think we had 33 or so yesterday, and then another pretty warm 26 or 7 today. It's been just perfect Melbourne summer weather.
It's been so good.
I wish we had nice weather in Britain. It's freezing.
One day it'll come. Adam reckons the suit suits me. I like it.
Can we, for this one show, can we turn Adam off the comments?
I don't know.
Or Adam.
I don't think he'd cope. I think we need Adam in the comments. He'll bring something great.
Caroline
thanks,
says,
Caroline.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Too funny.
Wait for tomorrow, Caroline. This one's just the entree. Gonna lift the
little
praise
friend,
the bar
friend.
Oh, little cute.
Yeah.
So, out of everyone here, who loves the festive period? Who's a big Christmas person?
Me. I love it.
Awesome.
Me. I love Christmas.
And what about you, Steve?
I'm a 50-50 Christmas person. I don't it's not my favourite time of the year. I don't dislike it. Like, there's no solid reasoning. I think I get a bit dragged down by the commercialism and the expense of Christmas. I think a lot of what the whole idea is about gets a bit lost, especially like obviously being a father of 4 and spending years of just like seeing want and expectation rather than love and compassion. I think it sort of doesn't ruin it for me, but it just still everything's just a commercialism now. And I think that sometimes we miss out on the real true joy of what this time of year is around getting around with friends and family that you don't get to see a lot of the time, rather than, I think I saw a thing the other day where it's like being present beats the hell out of presents. And I think that's something that gets lost a bit at the moment for me. So I love it, but I don't love it.
I love that phrase, Steve.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that phrase, being present, rather than it's. Yeah, I can recall, as a child. I mean, I suppose my parents they weren't rich, not by any means, not wealthy rich as in financially wealthy rich, but we were and have and remain to be a rich family in the sense that we've always had each other around us at any time of the year. And I would say that my brother and I were probably very much spoiled as far as gifts were concerned at Christmas. And because also his birthday is literally 2 weeks before Christmas and mine's literally 2 weeks after, but that was really bad planning on my parents' part, really. Quite a lot of our younger years, we'd get presents that would join Christmas and birthday, or birthday and Christmas. And for a little bit there, we could never understand why we weren't getting separate birthday presents and separate Christmas presents, And there was always loads of them. They weren't necessarily really expensive, but there was always loads of them. And then, of course, there was gifts given to us by other family members as well. Mm. And then Christmas night, we'd have my grandparents, a great aunt and uncle come over, another uncle would come over, and it would be just such an amazing time. And it wasn't until my early teens, I think, when just after we'd lost my great aunt, and it was the first Christmas without her, and that was the very first time that I realised that the best part of Christmas is all of us being together. The presents didn't really mean anything at all.
Yeah, you do tend to miss family members more at Christmas. My nana, it was her favourite time at Christmas. She'd always have her little flat looking like Santa's grotto. It would. You'd walk in and a singing Santa would go off, and you'd be like, "What the hell is that?" There'd always be something new going off, And yeah, the first year that she wasn't here, it was hard because obviously that's her favourite time of year, and you'd always go and see her on Christmas Eve and have the best little card and everything like that. She'd always pick the best cards. And yeah, it is really hard when you lose a loved one and it's Christmas. It is.
Yeah. And I think it's, even for me, we've always done family lunches, like bring and share. And used to be this massive Christmas table, and all the aunts and uncles would give gifts. But I think in my family, although the kids loved the gifts, we knew it wasn't the most expensive. That wasn't really what it was about for us. We just wanted the presents. So it was just the opening of the gift and the sharing, but it was the food that goes with Christmas. The joy. We'd always have music and dancing and just the get together, like your family members that you wouldn't see throughout the year, or you wouldn't see them for months, and then you'd be able to spend the whole day from lunchtime right into the evening. And those are the Christmases that I remember. And it would be because my mom has about 9 siblings. So they would each year, it would be mostly at the sisters' houses, but everyone would bring their food. And it was it was just crazy. You could just imagine chaotic, and then friends would drop in, and it was just, that is what I remember. And that is what Christmas is for me. And this year is going to be different. Although I must say the last 5 years have been different because I've been in Australia, but we still try to keep that, the bring and share and the get together of more friends now, because we don't necessarily have family close by or in our state, but we still try and be together and have that, I guess, just appreciation for each other. But this year, I think in memory, I lost 3. My mom's lost 2 sisters and a brother this year, which is very sad and very sudden and unexpected. So it's going to be a different Christmas, It's going to be, I don't know what we'll be feeling, because they were so much a part of the day.
Yeah, maybe light a candle and remember the good times you spent with them.
Exactly. And look, I know the people that they would not want us to be sad. And I think if you can tap into that sentiment, where, lucky for me, I look at it like they lived good lives, even though me selfishly would have wanted them to be a bit longer. They lived good lives. I don't really have anything to complain about. Whereas families over this time who lose kids or, a young spouse. Look, I mean, obviously it's a sad time of the year if you have lost anyone. I'm not minimizing any of that. But that would be like for me at least, I'm justifying it in this way, that they wouldn't want us to be sad. They would want us to celebrate it even more, I suppose, and have a glass of champagne for them as well. And yeah,
raise a glass to their memories.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree with that so much, Tessa. I think it is the sad reality. Obviously, the older we get, the less seats are filled at our Christmas tables for dinner. It's a sad reality, and I think we touch on this every show, but I think it's the gratitude and appreciation for the times that we got to spend with those people is what can really elevate a bit of joy if you are feeling down and sad around this time of year, that someone that you'd normally be able to break a Christmas cracker with isn't sitting there. I think it's having those great memories and being so thankful and appreciative that you got to have however many years doing that with them and having them around you. I think that can't be lost, because if you get caught up in the missing part, then you do end up missing out on all the good parts that came beforehand. So I think it's so crucial to really, really absorb so many great memories at this time of year and really appreciate great times that you spent with people, because I'm sure there's a very small amount of people out there, but I don't think the majority could say every Christmas has been bad. There's always going to be some great memory of some beautiful family and loved ones that have been a really, really precious time to cherish. And I think if we can really harness that and bring it on board, I think that can really help get through a tough part of the year for some people.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. It is, we've said that first Christmas without a loved one, it can be a little bit difficult, can't it? I know for some it can be very, very difficult, depending on who the loved one is that they've lost and how recently around Christmas that they lost that person. For the most part, and I'm sure that some people will shoot me for saying this, but for the most part, I do believe it's a choice. I know we can't always help how we feel, but we can make the choice to do what we can to enjoy the occasion as much as we can. And I think in doing that, when we do, we suddenly start to find that we are actually enjoying it after all. And it wasn't that difficult. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either. I know some people have said to me, well, I did actually really enjoy it, but then I felt really guilty afterwards because so-and-so was. And it's like, do you know what? Yeah. These people, they wouldn't want us to stop enjoying our lives just because they're not here with us anymore, not in person anyway. They're always going to be with us in here, always.
Yeah. And that is exactly the thing, Kerry. Is it's the guilt that we feel because or if there's unresolved issues, it can also lead the person to feeling like either they don't deserve to be happy or have fun even for a long time.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. I do believe that as well. It is a choice. And in saying that, I am not saying don't have a good cry when you need to, or even like at a memory. Often like I'll have a memory or something would trigger me and the tears would flow. But I know I know it's okay. And I know it's okay to feel sad and to feel this way and to just feel what I'm feeling and let it out. I think I told the story when we were doing, the grief a week. And it's just about, sometimes you feel like, I would have shared this with that person and now you can't. And that brings on the sadness. And that's okay. It's okay to feel that way and to just go through it. But it is a choice. And often the people around us, if they have had the same experience but moved a little bit further in their grief journey, then they kind of want this person to be there with them. And I often just say, be where you are in that moment. And, just understand that everyone has their own way of grieving, and it's your journey through this grief and how to get to the other side. But be conscious that if you stay in that misery for all the wrong reasons, for the guilt, for the this, like you were saying, Kerry, then you can get quite sucked in and go into the different types of grief and chronic grief, which you don't want all those things.
Yeah. I've got a friend who lost her mum on Christmas Day last year, so I know this year's going to be particularly hard for her. But we've always rallied round her and said, your mum would want you to enjoy Christmas for your boys, so make it memorable for them and remember the good times with her. But obviously she will, I know for a fact that she will disappear at some point that day and have a little cry to herself, and that's perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also our kids need to see that. I think our kids need to understand that we don't have to hide our feelings. And I think this is the learnings or the teaching we do when we're rearing our kids, that yes, sometimes even mom feels sad, and this is why, and it's okay to be like that. But we can also make it a happy one.
Yeah.
Because there are others that they want to celebrate. They want to remember the good things about that person as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been talking to her and she remembers going Christmas shopping with her mum every year. And I'm like, well, you can still do all that and make it a really good Christmas and that lot. Do it for your mum in her memory.
And another great thing you can do,
true.
Like, when we look at the importance of giving, and when you're missing someone, especially if it is like a mother or grandmother, there is no greater feeling, I promise, than in this week leading up to Christmas. If you've got a spare hour, get down to the local nursing home, get down to a local charity, and spend some time with the people that don't have the younger parts of the family to spend the day with them. Like, we always look at it and go, we've lost like parents and grandparents. But there's a lot of grandparents out there that have lost their family, or they've moved away, and they're in a home, and yeah, they've got their friends around, but they don't have just the pure utter joy of a surprise visitor coming in to say, how are you going? I hope you're having a fantastic Christmas. And I swear, if you dedicate just 1 hour of your entire year of all those many hours in that lead up to Christmas to go and spend it with, someone in a home, someone homeless, just give them that bit of time, bit of love, let them know that they're not forgotten. You will just feel a total different sense of well-being about what Christmas is. And it comes back to being present again.
Well, unfortunately, you're not allowed to do that in Britain yet because care homes have been allocated 3 people each. So,
what happened?
Because of COVID, because of all these COVID restrictions in care homes and that. What go into that?
Oh yeah.
That's just going to ruin the mood, so we'll just forget that conversation.
But that's, Kerry, that's a good point as well, because it's a reality of the space that we're living in. So we are finding that is happening, and people are so lonely and so isolated, and more so over this time. So if there's any way you can help, and maybe it's not physically your presence, maybe the home needs gifts or something small that you can donate even for a specific person. I know we used to do at my daughter's primary school, they used to sponsor a house with kids who were orphans basically, and so we used to buy them gifts, and then wrap it, and it would go under their tree. So even in that way, I think is what you're saying, Steve, is when you giving of yourself, you are taking where your thoughts would be stuck on a specific down feeling or depressed feeling, whenever we take the focus off ourselves, we automatically feel better, especially if we're giving and we're being generous to others.
Yeah.
It helps a lot to do something like that.
100%.
Yeah. Before COVID, I spent Christmas Eve delivering food parcels to families who didn't have much. And obviously, I've said it before on a different show. I went to one person's house and it was just her and her little newborn baby. And they didn't even have a Christmas tree up. And her face lit up with the food parcel. It meant that she could have something to eat on Christmas Day. And that really touched me. And it was the last delivery of the night as well before I went home. And when I got home, I sent Adam with the presents, bringing them downstairs for the kids. And I'm like, we've got presents. We're going to wake up to the kids and the smiling faces, and she's got nothing. And it stuck in my mind, and it still does now.
But the fact of the matter is that she didn't have nothing because she had that wonderful food parcel that you dropped off to her the night before. And she was probably more than grateful for that, knowing that she'd got something to eat. You know, she could feed herself, she could feed her baby. You know, and that probably meant the world to her.
Yeah, and I hope it did. Yeah. I'm going to tear up now.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to think that some people, you know, even though we have our experiences and, you know, the things that we go through, but there are always people that are so much worse off than what we are. And if you can bring a little bit of joy and light into their lives, you will feel so much better and take the focus off whatever's happening with you.
So true. And I think like what both you and Kerry just touched on there is comparison can be a very, very harmful thing. And Christmas is just another time where that doesn't serve you anything. Like, we can look at someone and go, oh, poor them, they don't have this. But they're sitting there going, how fantastic is this? I've got this. So, like, and then we can go the other way and go, oh, they've got everything. Why haven't I? Like, a lot of the time, if you do stay present and appreciate the people you do have in your life and the gifts you can give and the beauty you receive, rather than looking at what's going on in anyone else's world, we have no control. Like, you don't know. You see another parent lavishing their kids with everything and you think, God, I wish I could do that for mine. But do you really? Are they just becoming a created bunch of spoilt brats because they're used to just token his gift for no reason?
It is the very act of lavishing those kids with loads and loads of gifts, loads of expensive stuff. Is that a way of making up for lack of something else?
Could be.
That's what I was
Probably.
just thinking. Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of these like billionaire kids. Mums and dads are billionaires and they're away working a lot of the year. So at Christmas, they have all these expensive gifts like the latest phones, the latest iPads, laptops, the lot. You know, maybe even a gold bar stacked in there somewhere. And you know, it's not the things that they want. It's the time with their mum and dad that they really would appreciate.
Yeah.
And the simple stuff. Like, how often do you see a small child open a really expensive gift and chuck it to the side and spend half an hour playing with the box? Like, we get so carried away with what we have to give people, but the simple things in life are the most precious and beautiful, and you've got to not get caught up in all
they
of
really
that.
are.
Yeah.
I liken that to a similar thing happened years and years ago when I had a cat. And we bought her this wonderful like scratch pad. It was just a board, but it was sort of like in the design of a mouse. The problem was when we bought it for her, she was still a kitten, so this scratch pad was bigger than her, and she was scared of it. But you know, you buy all these other little toys, these plastic balls that jingle that are on the end of a stick.
Yes.
You didn't want to know. give her a rolled up sweet wrapper, she'd have hours of fun.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with my cats. You know, one of the kids had left a tube of Smarties on the floor, and even though we'd bought them new toys, they're more interested in that empty tube of Smarties. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And we can learn so much from it.
We can learn so much from that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, I mean, this year I'm getting my cats a new cat tree. They need a new cat tree. The other one broke. And I know for a fact that when I come back, they're not going to be interested in that. They're going to be jumping in the box.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep.
Exactly. Every time. And I think, you know, like Kerry, like you said, it's the importance of quality time, spending that time together, and getting our kids to really understand that, yeah, this is a time where you get presents, but that is not all that it's about. And like, but then again, I look back and I think when we were kids, were we the same? Possibly, right? Where it was so exciting to have those presents. But now when I think about, I remember the family, the get together. So maybe when you were a kid, that's all you're interested in. But if your parents go through through their effort to make sure that there's happy times, that there's fun, when you're a little bit older, that's actually what you then end up remembering. Or you hope so. And it's not just, oh, I didn't get that expensive gift, or I didn't get anything that I wanted.
It is absolutely. I mean, I know, I consider myself very, very fortunate in the fact that I've had all my Christmases, all the Christmases I can remember, have been just absolutely amazing, you know. And yeah, I have missed certain family members over the years, and of course, as we get older, our lives change, and you know, our circumstances change, and so therefore Christmases will start to change. And it's not just about losing loved ones, it's about literally life and circumstances changing as well. Like, for example, I got married, so I gained an extended family. So it was more than just my parents and family to go visit on Christmas Day. It was my in-laws as well. And so Christmas Day would become massively busy, you know, to the point where I have to admit, as much as I enjoyed it, it actually got to the point where I was glad to have Boxing Day at home doing absolutely nothing. Just
absolutely recovering.
But then you see that's me. I'm typically introverted. So, you know, whilst I enjoy being around other people, it can be draining on my energy. So I have to learn to sort of protect myself, and that doesn't stop me from enjoying the time when it's actually happening, you know.
Yeah, so true. And then, you know, sometimes the holidays also trigger people in a sense that they have to be with people that they don't get along with, or people that trigger them. And so it's how do you manage those situations where there's the get together and the person that you avoid the whole year, you have to be with them, or have to, because we don't have to do things, but like, what do you do to actually make your day as special as you can without letting this person rub you the wrong way, and then the whole day you're running around.
Well, again, we do have a choice. We have lots of choices. You know, we know that we're going to be in the company of that person, but we don't have to spend all day just with that one person. You know, there are other people that we can go and have conversations with. And I think for for that specific day, for specifically for Christmas or any sort of like family occasion get together, we want to do what we can to keep the peace, don't we? We don't want to be the creators of or the reason why something not so pleasant started. So I think it's up to us to just be mindful of how we respond, how we react. And, you know, we might need a couple of minutes just in the bathroom to sort of let off a bit of steam and swear in the mirror. But as long as we're not showing that in front of everybody else, you know, and we can keep a sort of a level energy, I suppose, and demeanour and mannerisms and everything else, as long as we can just say, do you know what? That person's just being that person. That's who they are. You know, I'm here to enjoy myself. Everybody else is here to enjoy themselves. I'm not going to let it bother me.
And yes, so true. Hey? And putting strategies in place, like you said, if you feel like you're about to explode, go to the bathroom, or you know, have a wing man, wing lady who, when there is an interaction,
take the dog for a walk.
That this person steps in and, you know, changes the conversation, or understand that this is going to happen and allow yourself not to be baited. So that, you know, the day doesn't get ruined for everybody because of situations that maybe you feel you can't control. Because sometimes they are there.
I was going to say, because we all anyway have different opinions about different things, don't we? We're not all going to necessarily agree on every single thing in the entire world. And, you know, somebody else's opinion about something may seem quite shocking to us. But I think it's respecting you know, they've had their own life experiences, and from that they've created their own beliefs. And that's all their opinion is their belief. It's their perception of their reality. So, and that will be different from ours. So I think, it is just a case of, you know, accept that that's how this person sees whatever.
Or you could go completely.
Plan.
Sorry, Steve, say again.
I was going to say, you've got to enter it with the perfect plan. Like, if you know every year there is some form of friction with this one particular person, set it up. Like, go in there and make sure you're at the opposite of a table. Don't sit next to them. Don't sit where you're always going to be clashing. If you've got a difference of opinion, don't engage in those parts of the conversation where they are putting across those opinions that you don't agree with. Like, we've said it a couple of times, Kerry, you've said it plenty of times. We have a choice. So you choose to distance. Choose what you engage with is a topic of conversation. If you're lucky enough to have any more than probably 4 people at the table, you don't have to engage in the conversation with that person that you know there's going to be conflict with. You can automatically turn to someone else and have your own conversation until that dies off, and then work your way back in. But it's definitely good to have a good strategy heading into things. If you know, in particular, there's constant conflict that's come up over and over again. I know when I was younger, I had a couple of issues with various members of our family. I was a bit of a black sheep and lone wolf, bit of the crazy man, being the oldest grandchild and all that sort of stuff. And I just put space and just guarded the space in between me and whoever there may be conflict with. There'd be a bit of banter at some stage during the day, but it ended up being a bit of fun then, rather than anything getting out of control and imploding on itself. So, I was certainly one from a very young age to enter not just Christmas, but many functions with a game plan, to know that I didn't. Well, it was, and I must admit, naughty elf Steve back in the day did have moments where I would deliberately stir it up. I would put myself in the middle of it and make it about us, and then, take away the joy and beauty of the event. So with age, luckily, I learned a few tricks to not engage in the same way anymore.
Yeah. Or you could go a completely different way. I mean, one thing my Nana always said to me was, if you've got any problems with anybody, Christmas is the perfect time to put aside those differences and enjoy time together. So maybe go with a small gift for that person and say, look, let's put aside our differences and enjoy Christmas as a family. So maybe that's a game plan to have.
Yeah, trying to reach out. And if that doesn't help, stay away. Choose how you respond. You've done your best, move on, because the situation is not going to improve, and you don't need to find yourself in the middle of that, I guess, But yeah, I think that's a great idea. Trying to mend the fences. So I've done my best. I've done all that I can. If that person doesn't want to accept this gesture, which is coming from the heart and in a good space, we leave it. We move on.
Yeah, at least you've tried to extend that olive branch and put aside your differences. And if they don't want to say, yeah, all right, okay, that's fine. No, at least you've tried.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And also, like,
there's
there's always options. And I mean, there's so many things that people go through, like even loss of a job, maybe close to this time, being let go. And how do you then respond to Christmas? How do you even feel about Christmas over this time? Which can be, a loss is already a loss of, financial security or a job, whatever that form it takes, is already a grieving process in some way. And what do you think? What would you do over this time?
That's a great point, Tessa. And it's a bit like where we were touching on so much about lost loved ones. That doesn't necessarily mean that they've died. You can be really going through the motions of loved ones who are still here, but you're not going to be seeing through various other reasons. I mean, on a personal note, my younger son turns 17 tomorrow, and I won't be seeing him. I won't know where he is. And Christmas Day will probably be the same, because he's made some decisions that have removed him from family life and living a normal upbringing that's going to prevent him from wanting to be around us, I'd imagine. So, yeah, it's not just someone that's passed. It's people that you should have around you that are making decisions that are keeping themselves away through whatever impact that may be on them and how they feel about things. But yeah, so it's not. There's so many things that can tie in, whether it's jobs or people that aren't in your life that should be, or there's a million different things.
There's so much, and it's hard, I guess, for the person going through it and the people going through it. But again, we go back to what Kerry said about choice. It's choice how you respond to the day or see the day. And just what you do to feel a little bit more empowered, to have that fun and not, because often what happens if we down, we kind of bring the people around us down because they all want to have a good time. And so, what do you do? Like, what do you do when that happens?
I think it is. In that kind of situation, it's not necessarily going to be an easy thing to move forward with, is it? And I suppose that it's a different situation. It's still somebody that's not spending Christmas with you. It's, it might be the first time that they're not spending Christmas with you, but you've not necessarily lost that person. They haven't passed. It's just that they're doing their own thing somewhere else. And as you've mentioned, Steve, the chances are you won't have any contact with that person. And so I think I can only come from the experience of spending Christmases for the first time without loved ones who have passed, be it recently, as in just before Christmas or much earlier in the year, you know. But I think it's still quite a similar thing in many respects. So I think it's like Caroline mentioned in the comments earlier. I think it's about being thankful for everybody that you have got around you at that time, you know, and feeling unhappy, peed off, miserable, depressed, whatever, is not going to change that situation. It's not going to suddenly miraculously make that missing person appear.
No.
Yeah.
And it's being kind to yourself and having compassion that, the day is going to be hard and it really sucks that I can't spend this time with this person or whatever the circumstances are. And
but there's another thing. Sorry to interrupt you, Tessa. You said something there very, very interesting. You know, when you said about, you know, saying, okay, so the day's going to be really hard. By saying that, you're making the decision, you're putting it out there that the day.
Yeah. I knew when I said it that was what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I look, I agree with that to a certain extent, but I also feel that sometimes it just is hard, and that can also be okay. But what I want to say from saying that it's going to be hard is that that's what you're choosing. That's what you're ultimately choosing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, I think if you move forward, if any of us moves forward with the intention that we're gonna enjoy the day, no matter what, we're going to enjoy the day. Anything even remotely negative that happens, or we might possibly recognize ourselves starting to feel a little bit negative and have those negative thoughts, as long as we're aware of those, we can catch them before they go too deep. And we can park them, you know, if we need to revisit them a bit later, you know, the next day or the day after, or even that evening once the kids have gone to sleep, you know, but just park them, leave them there and come back to them later if we absolutely have to. We might find that then as the day goes on, that we forget all about those things that we've parked and they've just kind of
and that is the sweet spot. That is the sweet spot. I've spoken to so many people who are grieving over this time, who have lost people who are really close to them, and they just don't want to do that.
Yeah,
you know, they actually, they just happy to be on their own. Like that's the space they're in. And as long as they're not thinking of doing anything to harm themselves, I think it's okay. You know, for me, I say, give yourself that time, that compassion, and do what you need for yourself that day. It's self-care, and that if that's your self-care, that's how you want to remember them that day. It's your choice. The better option would be to, I guess, try and put that aside and have that intention to have a good day. Some people are just not in that space, and I believe,
I get that. I mean, I'm gonna share with you my own personal situation for this year, and it's one that I kind of had this opinion about Christmas, if you like, for quite a number of years now, as I've got older. And like we said at the very beginning, you know, it's about who you're with. And bearing in mind, I'm also very much an introvert, so I do actually really enjoy my own space. As much as I love being around other people as well, you know, I do cherish my own space. But for me, for the last few years especially, since having dogs, and my parents, or now it's just my dad and my brother, have had a cat, but they also live like 200 miles away from me. That was my choice. I moved to where I am now. So I still go visit as regularly as I can. But Christmas for us is on a completely different day. You know, we'll be having our Christmas this year. It will be the Monday before Christmas because I'm able to go down on that day. So Christmas Day for me, don't get me wrong, the last few years I've been, you know, really, really grateful and I've enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed the day. I've been able to spend the day with friends. I've been invited around and had lunch with friends and had a wonderful time. But this year I'm actually really looking forward to having the day to just me and the dogs.
And that's a great point. I think that's a great point, because maybe the actual date does bring up so much feelings and memories, and maybe that's an option. So you still have that togetherness with everyone, but on a different day. Yeah. Maybe that is something. That's another strategy that you can think about to get around this day that brings up so much memories. And so then when the actual Christmas day happens, you can have your quiet time, you can have your self-care, you can have a nice bubble bath and, you know, just take the time for yourself and just be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. My real Christmas day is Boxing Day because there's no stress.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. All we have to do, from a personal note, everybody knows I'm a man of connection. It's my number one value. And Boxing Day, every single year, is my best mate Wayne's. Yep, the first day of the cricket, my best mate Wayne, we had what was his best mate, but also a dear friend of mine that passed away a year or two ago, and we have all of the coffin bearers from the funeral. We have beers, we have a barbecue, we have leftover seafood from Christmas Day. We watch cricket, and it's a brotherhood of love. And all we do is cherish awesome memories, celebrate everything that's been gone, that hasn't come yet, and just have a day of just pure blissful enjoyment. Even if we're getting smashed at the cricket, it doesn't matter. But that's what we do. It's a group of it's growing by the year. There's more and more people coming. But yeah, normally about 10, 12 of us. And just a day of, we've all got kids, so we've gone through all Christmas Day and running amok with kids and gifts and family. Then to have a day just of mates and blokes doing blokey stuff, but in a really loving, heartfelt way, which you don't normally see. That's my Christmas. Or a second Christmas. It's just as special as the family one. It's like a whole different family version again. I just love it. It lights me up so much.
Yeah, for me it's the opposite, because Christmas Day is our chilled out family day. You know, forget the cleaning up. Let the kids trash the living room. I don't care. For one day of the year, they can trash the living room and it can stay that way as long as it wants. Nobody's coming around on Christmas Day. The door doesn't even get unlocked. You know, we open the window and let the cats out. Open the window, let them go out through the window. I'm not unlocking the door. You know, and then obviously Adam will cook, and then the cats will have their little bit of turkey, and we'll sit down and have our turkey and then eat loads of chocolate, probably make ourselves sick from the amount of chocolate they eat. Like, I know the kids have chocolate for breakfast on Christmas Day, but one day of the year I don't care. And then Boxing Day, the day after Boxing Day, they're the stressful times, because that's when the family party is. So we've got to get ready and go out and go and mingle with family and that. And then we've got to take all the Christmas decorations down and get ready for Lucas's birthday. He's got to have that time with his autism. He's got to have that time between Christmas and his birthday to switch off to Christmas and switch on to his birthday. So everything's got to be down like literally a day or two after Christmas. for him to switch.
Okay, when's his
It's
birthday?
stressful. On the 5th of January.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like that quick after Christmas, he's got to have that time, so that becomes the stressful time. I enjoy Christmas Day. It's the one day of the year where I don't have to worry about cleaning up or anything like that.
Yeah. As long as Adam's doing his job and behaving himself.
Adam gets in the kitchen and cooks.
Yeah.
Good man, Adam.
Yeah. I love it though. I love this period, and like especially when there's so much food left over, and that's Boxing Day for us. We just laze around, whatever, or depending on the weather, we'll go to the beach, and you just have, you have food for that day. You don't have to worry about cooking, and just all the leftovers. It's such a relaxing, really relaxing day.
I don't have to worry about cooking on Boxing Day. I go to a family party and stuff my face there.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And the amazing Kate Taylor's just jumped on to say, hello, beautiful people. Hello back at you, beautiful Kate.
Hey, Kate. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, my biggest Christmas gift every year is that I don't go to work.
Yes.
And then I can be present totally because there's no focus outside of the household or my mates or the family.
Yeah.
No work involved. That's the best gift a man can ever get until you realise that you've got lawns and weeding and windows that need washing and gutters that have to be cleaned and under the house has to be sorted in the garage. It's all the good stuff, but it's work.
I think you are a workaholic, Steve. Let's just get that out there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know when you relax, so I'm glad you're having 1 or maybe 2 days to yourself. And it's so true, I think often with the festive season, like Kerry was saying, there's so much stress sometimes around it. If you are not careful, if you don't choose well, if you can get yourself wrapped up in all the craziness, and instead of seeing this time as a break, from the year that you've just finished, or and do things for yourself that are uplifting and that are really caring. It's so important, I believe, just to do that. In South Africa, what we used to do, because the weather was really great, right? So it's summer, and on the 1st of January, everyone would go to the beach because the weather was just so beautiful. They would have fireworks, and so everyone would be on the beach. But it was also if you spoke to different people from different cultures, they would say it's a day of cleansing. You would get rid of the old, and the salt and the seawater was actually so cleansing. And they used to go take their picnics with their families and go for a swim. And especially if there was a crap year, they would get rid, or that's what people believe. This is the start of a new year, start of we letting go of everything that happened and taking self-care. And so I believe over this period, you should really just take the time to do what you need to do for yourself, to make the choices for you as far as you can, and obviously your family. But really, I always say be kind and compassionate to yourself, just the way you would to a friend or a family member, because often we don't do that. And so give yourself this break for how long or how many days it is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the things that we are going to put out as warriors, obviously, is over the Christmas period, enjoy your Christmas, but also take some time for yourself. Have some self-care, whether it is a hot chocolate and a Christmas film, or not even a Christmas film, a hot chocolate and your favourite film, and just a nice blanket in front of the television, or maybe sat in bed in front of the television, and just chill out and relax and unwind and reflect on the year that you've had, whether it's been a year of highs, a year of lows, or a year where it's been mixed. I mean, I know in Britain it's been a crazy year, but hopefully going forward things will calm down a little bit. But importance of reflecting over the year and taking that time for yourself to wind down and enjoy yourself.
I think as well, because I kind of reflect quite regularly. I personally, for me, I think it's important to do that, because first of all, I have to. I sometimes feel a need to remind myself just how far I've come, and what I've actually overcome, what I've survived, what I've lived through. Also to remind myself of the lessons that I've learned through those adverse times. But even more importantly, I think, it is to look at all the good things that have happened. And carry those with me and know that I've got a load more really good times and good things yet ahead of me that haven't happened yet. And to carry that positivity forward with us, not forgetting the lessons that we've learned from the not so good times. Make sure that we carry those forward with us as well. But knowing what we do want, knowing that we will have some amazing times, in the future. And again, it kind of all does come down to choice at the end of the day. I have to say I've had an argument with myself over that, because I'm thinking, but you're feeling sad because you've lost someone or something not very nice has happened or blah 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 blah. And okay, so you can't necessarily always control that initial feeling, the instant that you have that thought or the instant that you're given that news. But moving forward from that, you at least have the power to a certain degree to control how you feel, how you think. And you have absolute control over what you say, what our intentions are, what we put out there. So Kerry, you were saying just now that Boxing Day and the day after will be really stressful because you'll be with family. Again, you're putting it out there. You're saying it's going to be really stressful.
You've got no choice now.
Absolutely. That's your past experience, but your past experience doesn't have to determine your future experience.
Reframe it, Kerry. Like, I'm going to have so much good food to eat and I'm going to have such fun. It's so true. We can reframe almost anything that we can put forward. And as Kerry was saying, set the intention for that reframe. It doesn't have to be as bad as it was. We set the intention. We choose we're going to have a good time no matter what. And even if it's just talking to someone different at the party and fully engaging with them, or allowing them to talk and to share, that is one way that we can have a good time. We're giving that to someone else just to be heard, to be validated. And I love what you said about the reflection, Kerry, as well, because we often don't look at how much we achieved. And if you write down everything that you've achieved this year, you'll be so surprised, because often it's the littlest thing that we forget. And when we look back at that year, it's actually been a good year with some good stretches and some great times, and a learning curve, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, while you're on that subject, I mean, I know I'm not the host, but I'm going to throw a question to us all. What's our biggest achievement of 2021? Go on, Steve. You start, seeing as you're the host, or one of them.
Biggest achievement. I think my biggest achievement's been my commitment to my constant growth and what I want to achieve for myself. It's not anything extraordinary, but I've always stayed committed to what I'm here for and what I'm doing, and that's enough for me. Like, I don't need any big accolades or anything. I mean, everyone's sort of seen what I do pretty constantly. My netball girls, they're always a massively proud achievement that I could spend a year in, year out with them and help change their mindset a little bit and how they feel about the world at such a tender age of 14, 15 going forward. So, yeah, that for me, my biggest achievements are always the little things in life that I can do better day by day and just keep presenting a better version of me. That's my big wins.
Cool. Go on, Tessa, what about you?
Yeah, so for me, I've had a couple of stretches this year, and they've all been learning curves. And looking back now, I can't say that I wish they didn't happen, because I think I'm a much better person now. I've just learned so much, which I'm able to share in my work. I was telling one of my friends how I manifested this job that I'm in right now, where I'm able to help those who are wanting to reach their goals, and it was an unconscious thing, but I was curious about it and researching, and then left it, just let it go. So I've also learned a lot to surrender and to let go. I finished my mental health studies, and so even though the year didn't go as planned, and if I look back, I've done just so much, and I'm proud of the growth, and I'm proud of the fact that I was able. It really taught me how strong I am. It showed me who's really in my corner, and how grateful I am and blessed that I am to actually have those people there, and to really just, pull me up or listen to me when I needed a cry or a conversation or some advice, like Kate Taylor. I don't know if Kate's still on here. Kate had a chat to me the other day, and she gave me some good advice. And so that's what I'm grateful for. And those are my achievements, I feel. The fact that I've reached out more to people and shared more of myself, I guess, this year.
Go on, Kerry.
Not too dissimilar to Steve and Tessa, to be honest with you. It is always about growing personally, learning. We're learning every day, because every day is a new day. We can't bring back yesterday. We can't relive yesterday, even though the Hollywood would have you believe you can. But so each day is a new day, and it's what do we do with that day? How do we conduct ourselves throughout that day? What do we do? What do we do for us? What do we do for other people? And so it's about constantly learning, and that's the biggest thing that I've had this year. And also just to excuse me, again, go with what you were saying, Tessa, about letting it go. Letting go of the outcome. You might want something really, really badly, and that's fine. But let go of the outcome. Because if you don't let go of the outcome, then you're not relaxed enough. Yeah. And if you're not relaxed enough, the outcome you desire is less likely to happen, or it'll take a lot longer.
Yes.
So, that's a really important lesson that I've learned this year.
I think for myself,
finish us off, Kerry.
I think for myself is obviously overcoming my fear of being on camera. and joining the Mental Health Warriors and helping Adam create this amazing team that we've got together now. Our little dysfunctional family, as he calls it. That's my personal achievement that I'm proud of myself about. And again, it ties into I've grown so much as a person. I look back 12 months ago and I wouldn't even recognise myself now. I've grown so much. And I'm looking forward to how else I'm going to grow and what I'm going to look like in 12 months' time.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It never, ever ends. As long as we're always presenting that better version, the journey never ends. We can just keep growing and growing and growing into more prosperous, amazing humans. Yay, Sandy's back with us. Sandy, you're a legend. We love having you on board.
Yeah, and just for everybody, definitely.
I mean, this is our last Empower You for 2021. So, yeah, Tessa and I, just so much appreciation for everyone that tunes in every week. Both Kerrys for being so awesome and jumping on with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. So nice to have a chat with you, Kerry. I think I've spoken to our Kerry, but Kerry Bar. Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for having me on this morning.
Yeah.
And we mustn't forget that Dale will be back too at 8 p.m. UK time for the last episode of the year for Straight, Sane and Sober. So everyone tune into that. Everybody else, I'll be back tomorrow. Mindset Elf may be coming back as someone different tomorrow. Might not be Elfie tomorrow. And so after I've had the absolute pleasure of Tessa and the two amazing Kerrys tonight, it's a whole new panel of warriors tomorrow night. It's just warrior specials just keep on rolling out. So I'm sure we'll, as I like to plan things so well, no idea what we're going to talk about, but tune in, it'll be worth it. That's how I roll. But no, seriously, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Kerry, Tessa, you're awesome. Thank you so much, Sandy, for being on board basically every week. Kate, Adam, always there to give me grief and annoy me in the comments, but that's all right. So thank you, everyone. Anyone we don't see again, have an awesome Christmas and New Year.
Yep.
And we will be back in January.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Have a good one.